What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxer coming back at y'all with another one, man. So I had one of the family, the subscribers, ask me a question of who do I feel like has the better resume between Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford, which is a very good question. I told y'all I do these every now and again, man, where you guys ask me a question and I answer the question. So you know what, and forgive me for not, and next time I'm gonna start remembering, I'm gonna start memorizing you guys' names so I can, give y'all shout outs or whatnot. But that's a very good question, and I actually like that question a lot. Now, for one, first and foremost, I just watched the press conference, man. It was more interesting than what I thought. I knew it wasn't gonna be like on the level of a Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez or a Tank versus Ryan. I knew it wasn't gonna be like back and forth like that, but it was still some back and forth, and I really appreciated that. I really liked how when Terence Crawford said something, and I can't remember what it was he was saying. He was saying something about frying the fish. How he gonna get the fish, like reel them in, gut them, skin them, and all that. And then Errol Spence was like, well, I'm Jamaican, so all we do is smoke bud. Like, that was, oh my gosh, that, like, talk about bars, that was funny. But it was more entertaining than what I thought, because you got two guys that really don't talk a lot of trash. But now Terence will step out that way if you disrespect him. But normally, you have to disrespect actually, Terence Crawford to get him upset. But and Errol Spence, he's not really just into trash talking. But who has the better resume between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford? Well, let's talk about it, man. One thing for sure, two things for certain. I'm gonna start my argument off by saying this, bro. I feel like personally at welterweight, and I'm gonna break this down as well. You guys stay. That's why you guys stay tuned for the video. I'm gonna break it down why I say what I say. But at welterweight, off top, I'm gonna say Errol Spence has the better resume. But overall, if you want to say Terence Crawford has the better resume, I'm not going to argue with that, because a lot of guys, a lot of the guys got to remember, man, a lot of guys, especially in today's time, they mix up popularity with talent. Now, a lot of the guys, the good names that Terence Crawford really beat aren't popular guys and at lower weight divisions, which is why people often say that Terence Crawford does not have a better resume than Errol Spence. Now, I'm not gonna argue with that. Ultimately, like, there's no wrong answer in that answer. If you feel like Errol Spence has the better resume, that's cool. But let's just break it down, all right? This is why I feel like overall, if you feel like Terence Crawford has the better resume, I can't be mad at that, right? Terence Crawford has been in there with the likes of, the first name I recognize on Terence Crawford's resume would definitely be Bradis Prescott. For y'all that don't know Bradis Prescott is the first person to knock out Amir Khan. And matter of fact, not only did he knock him out, he knocked him out in one round. Now, if you look at Bradis Prescott's record now, it doesn't indicate how dangerous he was back then. Terence Crawford fought Bradis Prescott. Actually, he fought Bradis Prescott at 140, and that was on a 2-week notice, if I'm not mistaken. He went to fight Bradis Prescott at No, it wasn't Bradis Prescott that he fought on a 2-week notice. No, it wasn't. My bad. Correction. But Bradis Prescott is a good name. All right. Then I look up. I'm on his resume. I'm on his box rec right now. Then we go up, and the next name I see is Ricky Burns. Now, I think Ricky Burns is who he fought on a 2-week notice, if I'm not mistaken. But somebody can correct me. But I know that he went over to somebody's hometown, and that's why I know it wasn't Bradis Prescott, because Bradis Prescott fight was in America. He went over to Ricky Burns, who was a multiple world champion, a multiple-time world champion. But I never really liked Ricky Burns, because Ricky Burns ducked the hell out of Adrian Broner. But he has victory over Ricky Burns, all right. Then he has a victory over Yuriorkis Gamboa, all right. Back when Yuriorkis Gamboa was undefeated, he had promotional issues with 50 Cent or whatnot, but he fought Gamboa. He has Gamboa on his resume. Ray Beltran, who was a world titleist or whatnot, decent fighter. Not is up there as like I wouldn't put him up there as with the Ricky Burns or maybe he can be Ricky Burns, but he hasn't accomplished as much as like Ricky Burns did, or Gamboa, but still a decent guy. I actually sparred Ray Beltran. Very good, very cool guy. Thomas Delorme, who I feel like he does not get enough credit for. Thomas Delorme is a solid guy, a very solid guy. Deary Jane gave Lamont Peterson a tough fight. but you know, he was able to beat Derrick James. Hank Lundy, who was a veteran or whatnot. You know, these are decent names. These are B-level guys. Thomas Delorme is a B-level guy. Gamboa, I would consider Gamboa as an A-level back then. Ricky Burns, a solid B-level guy. Bradis Prescott, a B-level guy. Thomas Delorme, B-level guy. Derrick James, I'd probably say is a C-level guy. Hank Lundy, a rugged C-level guy. Victor Postal, you almost can consider Victor Postal a A-level guy, but Victor Postal was a very good fighter. He beat the hard-hitting Lucas Matisse back when Lucas Matisse was doing damage. So Victor Postal, he gets full credit on Victor. I really want to say Victor Postal was an A-level, but if you want to call him a B-level, that's cool. But these are still very good guys on this record, on this resume, and I'm only naming the guys that I know that stand out. John Molina Jr., C-level, you can say C-level. Felix Diaz. Now this is the one that I wanted to get to. Felix Diaz, bro. Let me tell you something. Terence Crawford does not get enough credit for beating Felix Diaz, bro. Felix Diaz was a rugged dude, bro. Listen, let me tell you that right now. Felix Diaz was a rugged dude, a very good guy. A lot of people arguably thought that he really could have gotten a victory over Lamont Peterson. And but bro, and he was a gold medalist, if I'm not mistaken. Felix Diaz was a good, very tough guy. Terence Crawford, that'd be the second gold medalist Terence Crawford beaten or whatnot. And Terence Crawford beat him. Julius Ndongo, unified light welterweight champion. I didn't think highly of Julius Ndongo. I'm not gonna say I don't think highly of Julius Ndongo, but he held 2 of the world titles that prevented Terence Crawford from being undisputed. He needed those world titles to become undisputed, so you got to give Terence Crawford credit for that. Jeff Horn, who had the WBO title, that was his first fight moving up to welterweight, all right? And Jeff Horn had just defeated Manny Pacquiao or whatever and had the WBO title, so what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to fight him, right? You know what I'm saying? Why would he not fight Jeff Horn? And Jeff Horn has the title. So it only makes sense. And then plus everybody knows the WBO title is basically ran by Top Rank anyway. So it only would make sense for him to move up to fight Jeff Horn. Next up, Jose Benavidez. Now Jose Benavidez Jr. At that particular time, Jose Benavidez Jr. was, undefeated. He had the record of 27-0. I think he had like 19 knockouts. Matter of fact, Jeff Horn was his first to beat, and Julius Ndongo. All of those was them were undefeated. But anyways, with Jeff Horn, you have to put Jeff Horn. You have to put Jeff Horn as an elite fighter because he just beat Pacquiao. He had the belt. If you want to give him a high B, that's cool. A high B level, that's cool. Julius Ndongo, whatever it is, what it is. Jose Benavidez Jr. at that particular time, I probably would say was a C+ level fighter. Amir Khan, at that particular time, he had lost to Canelo. I'm not sure what level I would call Amir Khan, but he is a big name. Aegis, Mean Machine. Let me tell you, that's another fighter that was slept on. Mean Machine is a good fighter, bro. A really, really good fighter. Maybe not on the elite level, but I give him a B-. Mean Machine. Kell Brook, we know. A lot of people feel like Kell Brook wasn't really the same, but Sean Porter. But Kell Brook's still a big name on his resume. Sean Porter, the first and only person to stop Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? And then David Avanesian, who I consider a C-level fighter. But so it's a lot of B's, C's, and C's on Terence Crawford resume. I consider Sean Porter an A-level fighter. But some people may not agree with that, and that's fine. I understand if you don't, but I feel like Terence Crawford does have a really solid resume, bro. A really solid resume. And one that often gets overlooked. Now, if we go to Errol Spence resume, all right, Errol Spence, who has the record of 28-0 with 22 knockouts. All right, let's go down. I always go to the first name that I recognize, all right? So the first name I recognize on Errol Spence resume is Samuel Vargas, who he was considered a C-level fighter. He's been in there with the likes of Amir Khan and Danny Garcia, Phil LaGreco, C-level fighter, Chris Van Heerden, C-level fighter, let me see, Chris Algieri, B-level fighter, Leonard Bundu, B- level fighter. Kell Brook at that particular time was an A-level fighter. One of the top guys. Lamont Peterson, a B-level fighter. Carlos Ocampo, I call him a C-level fighter. You can call him a B-level you want. Mikey Garcia, A-level fighter. Sean Porter, A-level fighter. Danny Garcia, B+ level fighter. Yordenis Ugas. These are world champions though, so they're elite regardless. And Yordenis Ugas, a solid B-level fighter. A solid B-level fighter, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like, but at welterweight, I would say, like I said, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Lamont Peterson, Kell Brook, back when Kell Brook was, a champion. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to discredit Kell Brook on Errol Spence's resume, but a lot, when you put the whole totality into fruition, I feel like you got to give Errol Spence credit for that, because for one, nobody told Kell Brook to move up and fight Triple G, while Errol Spence himself was pressing for a fight with Kell Brook and was Kell Brook's mandatory. Kell Brook chose to do that on his own, him and Eddie Hearn, so that was Kell Brook's fault. That's why I don't hold that against Errol Spence, because Errol Spence was the IBF mandatory challenger, and Kell Brook decided to move up to fight Triple G on his own will, and the IBF was just like, nah, bro, you still got to fight your mandatory. We're not going to take you out of that. You decided to move up and fight Triple G voluntarily. This is your mandatory. And, Errol Spence, of course, goes over to the UK in front of 30,000 people who wanted to see him lose. Somebody even threw a chocolate brownie at Errol Spence. And the damn thing happened, bro. But Errol Spence went over there, took the belt, and brought it back to the United States of America and held on to it since. Mikey Garcia was undefeated, 39-0 with, I want to say, 30 knockouts. Sean Porter was a dog. Everybody knows the type of dog Sean Porter brings. So I consider Sean Porter an A-level fighter. Many people don't. If you don't, that's totally understandable. But again, these are just, names that Errol Spence has at welterweight. Leonard Bundu was in there with Keith Thurman. So, I mean, if in my opinion, bro, both of them have really, pretty solid resumes. I give Errol the slight advantage at welterweight, but overall, I would give Terence, I don't know, maybe I would say Terence Crawford overall, but again, I just, it's really almost close. It's really 50-50 to me. So there you go. That's my take on it, man. I hope I answered your question. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Who do you think has the better resume? But what do I know?